Hey guys, it's Courtney from Willow's Bloom, and today we're going to be talking about how to hire a VA. Let's get started. Okay, so my backdrop is a little different than usual. I am currently in Telluride, Colorado, and just taking advantage of my grandma's beautiful house out here. So thank you so much, Grandma. But today we're going to be talking about how to hire a VA. And I have had a really positive experience with this, but I didn't find a ton of helpful videos online about it. And so I wanted to make one that I wish I had at the time. So let me walk you through everything that you need to know from the very beginning. Okay, so starting off, before you hire a VA, you first need to make sure that you know how to do and have done everything that they are going to do. This is something I've noticed while coaching some of my business students, that they want to hire a VA to take over tasks that they don't want to do. That makes a lot of sense, right? The problem is that they hire them for tasks that they don't know how to do themselves. They hire them to basically get it off of their plate because they are annoyed by them. And this is a problem because whenever you hire someone, you need to make sure that that person knows how to do the job. But how can you make sure that they know how to do that if you don't know what you're asking them to do? So you won't know how long something will take, if it's done well, if it's getting the right result, if you don't know how to do it. And this isn't the same for every single role. So I'm not saying that this is a blanket statement across the board, but I think generally for most roles, you want to hire someone for something that you have done before. That way you can have certain expectations and you're able to communicate with them a lot easier. This is really specific also for small businesses, entrepreneurs who are just getting started. And so if this is a big company, obviously it's going to have different protocol. Okay, so as a small business, what you want to do is hire someone for a cheap amount of money, right? Like you can't go out and spend a ton of money on someone when you aren't making money at the beginning. And this is the big conundrum. How can you grow if you don't hire someone? You have to sort of spend money to make money in that sense. You have to hire a VA, in my preference, before you really think that you need one. And what I mean by this is that I see a lot of people waiting way too long to hire a VA. And they're stuck doing these more menial tasks that are actually taking away from the bigger vision of their company and making them have less of an impact and their growth is stunted in a way. It's like a much slower way to grow. So I prefer to hire someone out as soon as I can, as soon as I feel like I've mastered that part of my business and would like to move beyond it. So that's my recommendation, is to hire earlier rather than later, because I noticed a lot of people will hire later. Another part of that is that a lot of times people will procrastinate hiring someone else because they think that someone won't do it as well as you will. And that's true to a certain extent because you only have your vision in your mind. However, an integral process of growth is being able to let go of the reins. And so if you just set things up in a way where you have very clear expectations and very clear guidelines of how to complete a task, then the person that you hire will be able to create something that's of the same caliber as what you would do. And so it's really beneficial to hire someone, but have all the processes already in place. So that's the second thing I want to talk about. Before you can actually hire someone, not only do you have to know the role, but you have to have the role totally laid out. And this doesn't mean every task has to be written about. What you need to do is have a core task or a core few tasks for them already outlined. So you show them step by step in a video of what to do. I suggest using Loom. You can just record your screen, it's free, and then you can have a link where you paste it into a Google Doc and then show them what to do within that task based off of the information in that Google Doc. So for example, I hired someone for video editing, so I walked her through how to create a thumbnail, what I wanted her to do to edit my videos, and I had a step-by-step process. And any apps we were using, I gave her her login information. I had that already set up before I hired her. And now I still create new processes for these tasks as I go because she's given more and more tasks over time. However, it's important to have a few of them already laid out before you hire them. And that will be part of the onboarding process where you send them their contract and then they can look over the first task that they need to do, which would be, sign into your portals or to wherever you're giving them access to, and then complete a trial task or your first task. So make sure you have the back end of hiring someone set up. So if you don't want to use a Google Doc outlining a task, if that's too simplified for you, then I recommend something called Process Street. So if you have a bunch of different tasks, then this is the way to go. But if you're just getting started and you only have like 1 or 2 tasks, then Google Docs is fine. So Process Street is for somebody who has, like a variety of tasks for that person. And it's a whole system that is basically just documentation for how to complete a task. So I strongly recommend checking that out. So the 2 things that I recommended were Loom and Process Street so far. Okay. Now let's get into the actual hiring process. So what I recommend is going to Onlinejobs.ph and spending $70 to post a job ad, and make this job ad as specific as you can. And then along with this, you want to also look for people on the website and try to find somebody that matches the job description. So I don't want you to just make this a passive thing. I want you to go out and be actively searching for someone on top of already posting this job description. So Onlinejobs.ph is a website that allows you to post a job description, like I said, for $70, and then you have access, I believe it's for a month. Yeah, I think it's for a month. You'll have access to the website and you'll be able to communicate back and forth with people. After you've hired someone, that's it. It's just a one-time fee. You don't need to keep paying them. And it's amazing because if you hire someone who has the word time proof on their account, this means that they can track time on their computer and it will automatically be stored in your account on Onlinejobs.ph. So you don't have to do all this stuff to track hours. It's already there and they just have to press the button when they're on and off. And then the second part of this is that you can even pay them through this system. So it's so simple. It's so easy. Onlinejobs.ph has everything that you would want to hire a VA. So the VAs that you're hiring are from the Philippines. So they're going to be at a different pay rate. It's going to be a lot cheaper than if you paid someone here in the United States. I recommend this when you're just getting started and for certain tasks. Like for example, my beautiful video editor is from the Philippines. And I could also pay someone to do that same task in the United States, but then I have to pay them a lot more money. And it's not to take advantage because there's just a different salary over there and the money has a different conversion rate. So when they get paid, you're still paying them what an average salary would be in the Philippines. So you're not, gypping them, and I would never suggest doing that. So when you go to post your job description, make sure that it's really accurate, because I think the number one mistake I see with people is that they are posting really vague job descriptions. And I just don't know why they think that's a good idea, because nobody of caliber and of value is going to look at that and apply and be excited about that. They want to know about your company. They want to know what you do, how much you are going to pay them, how many hours they're going to work, what their expectations are. So I'm going to go ahead and read you the job description that I originally had for Willow's Bloom, and it was specifically for a video editor. So I start off by saying what Willow's Bloom is about, and I say Willow's Bloom is a business focused on helping women entrepreneurs build their soul-aligned business through astrology. We are looking to expand our team. The job will start with 20 hours a week and pick up over time. The work is set to begin at this date. I'm looking for someone with video editing experience using a professional app like Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro 10. You must be able to sync audio, add sound effects, music, add images and graphics, videos, text, etc. So that made it really clear about what I expect them to be able to do in this role. And then there was also this, it's more than just a video editing role, it's also a VA. So I put that video editor / VA in the subject. And then I went on to say, you will be editing weekly YouTube videos for us and will help with other tasks like creating thumbnails, finding images for social media, responding to emails, monitoring social media, scheduling blog posts, and other tasks would fall under a virtual assistance domain. It's an added bonus if you have Adobe Illustrator and know the basics. So you can even have woven in what the requirements are, the minimum requirements, and then the bonuses. So if somebody has that kind of experience, then that's an added bonus to them. I'm looking for someone who can work independently and creatively, but is also a team player. We will meet once a week to discuss your progress and give you a chance to ask me questions. It's important to me that your needs are met as well, so communication is important. Besides our weekly meeting, you can work when you want as long as you meet the deadlines I assign. If you're interested in this role, please send an email to me with the subject line, your new video editor, and please include a sample of your work you've done. Also include your level of English, a little bit about your personality, how long you're hoping to work in this position, what your goals are for the next year, and something interesting about yourself. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing from you. If you don't receive a response from me, please assume that I'm unable to hire at this time. Okay, so this last part is really important because I'm giving them specific instructions on what to include in their application. This will weed out the people who did not fully read your job description and who are not going to be a good hire because they're not reading your job description. So I had a specific title that I wanted them to put in the email, and then I wanted them to include their previous bodies of work. So this automatically makes it so much easier on me because I know that they are someone who pays attention to detail, and then I can actually see what they've done in the past. This is easy for a video editor, but even for another position, you could have them do send in sample work of some sort or do a sample task, which I'm going to talk about later. And so this at the beginning is really great to weed people out and decide who you want to actually include in the interview process. I only recommend interviewing max 5 people. I think it's too much to have so many people going on. And when you are interviewing, make sure that you're writing down notes about each person so that you can keep track. Okay, so that's the job description. And then people are going to apply, send in their work. You're going to screen them, interview 5 people, and then you're going to decide who you actually want to hire. And sometimes you're going to come down between 2 people who you think are equally good. In this case, and even if it's just one person, in all cases, I would suggest doing a test run where you're basically saying that you will pay them to complete a task for you. So what I did was I had 2 people who I really liked, and I had them both I cut a video in half and I had them both edit a half of the video given my instructions, and then I paid both of them. And at the end, I decided which one I wanted to hire given that whole process, and I hired that person. So a test run is really important to make sure that they can follow your instructions, to make sure that they care, and that their work is up to quality, up to par with what you want. Okay, and then after you've done the test run, then you can begin the onboarding process, and this is where all the behind the scenes work that you've done beforehand is going to really shine and really be important. So at this point, you're going to give them all of their onboarding instructions, telling them to log into certain things. You're going to give them their first task, and hopefully you'll be using a project management system like Asana and a communication app like Slack in order to have everything really organized and flow freely for you guys. So a key part of the onboarding is talking about the expectations, which should be included in your contract. So what I did, and I can't give a recommendation about this because I'm not a lawyer, but what I did was I searched independent contractor contract in Florida, and then I edited it and sent it over to my VA. Within this document, I included a list of expectations. I also included when she would get paid leave, what her sick leave was like, when we would be in contact, when things were due, how often she would have to communicate with me. I included the whole clause about firing, about sharing information. So basically having a non-disclosure agreement so she isn't able to say anything. An NDA where she's not able to share my resources and my knowledge with another company. Things like that should be included in the contract. So a really important part about hiring someone from the Philippines is that not only are you including the pay rate, but you're also going to include something called the 13th month, which is where you're going to pay them an extra salary for the 13th month, which is around Christmas time. They're getting a Christmas bonus kind of thing. So go ahead and Google that online to come up with how much the 13th month should be for your employee, but it's going to be a really important part of including them. So not only did I show the 13th month on her contract, but I also went through and looked at all the important holidays in the Philippines that people had off, and I included those in the contract saying that she had those off. So this was my way of meeting my VA where she was, in the sense that this is her country's custom, and I didn't want her to have to abide by the United States customs. So what I did was I kind of mixed the two with my knowledge, and then my knowledge of her country and my country, and put it in the contract. So I hope that makes sense. Basically, it's just important to be kind to the people that you hire and really communicate with them. And I think that a great way to do that is by having the similar customs as to what they're used to within your job agreement. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I will link all the important stuff below. And yeah, best of luck. If you guys have any questions, don't forget to comment below because I would be more than happy to answer. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But most importantly, hit that notification bell because that's how I get my videos pushed to you each week. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.